viewer voice messages. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sunday. It is a few hours before the Saints take on the Dallas Cowboys in week 2 of the NFL. Enjoy the game, and we are going to be listening to / responding to your voice messages. If you want to call in and give me a take on the game or anything, or ask a question, totally up to you. Speakpipe.com is how you do it. There's a link in the description. You are capped at 90 seconds for the question or statement or whatever. Beyond that, it's up to you. So I'm going to rip through these. We got 6 voice messages. I like to do them, when they get to about 6-ish, somewhere in there, just so they don't pile up. But again, thank you very much for everybody for watching it. Okay, let's go ahead and start. Let's get right into this. Meet Father, the tag team partner, tag team champions. Meet Father and Girthquake. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hey, James, the Meat Father's back here at Survivor Pool, baby. Who dat? Crushing the Panthers, getting by week 1 nice and easy. Nice and easy. I think my pool, we lost about a third of the members with the Bengals losing. Gotta love it. So my riskier take, I'm thinking Washington this week. Obviously, the no-brainer slam dunk is the Eagles, because who likes the Falcons? Other slam dunks are like the Ravens, but I think I'm going to roll with Washington and go a little more risky early in the season. If you make it through, you look good for the end. Let me know.
Meat Man.
What do you think?
Meat Man, no way. No way, brother. I got to put this out. Meat Man, do not do that. Brother, no way. Okay, first of all, when in Survivor contest, I am in 2 Survivor contests. DraftKings, I'm in 2 separate DraftKings pools. I got 15 entries in those. And I have 1 entry in Circa's Survivor contest, which is like $14 million grand prize there. So what you want to avoid is divisional games, road games. Okay, so right off the bat, Washington and New York, I don't know about that. The second week, I am always concerned when you have an 0-1 team versus a 1-0 team. And I'm always concerned about travel. So, like, I know it has nothing to do with Washington and New York, but, like, the Ravens, not the Ravens, excuse me, the Chargers go to Carolina, but they're traveling from LA to Carolina. They're playing the early time slot, and the Chargers are 1-0 versus Carolina's 0-1. So, just because of all of that, I've taken the Chargers off my board. I do like the Ravens because similar, the Raiders, big travel, early time clock. I also love that the Ravens lost in week 1. So I love the fact that you get the Ravens at home, extra rest, because they played on that the first game. They played on Thursday night. So they have extra rest to prepare for a Raiders team who's already bad. Antonio Pierce doing Antonio Pierce things. So I do like the Ravens. I think you can also make a case. So the team that I'm going with is the Houston Texans. So my selections are the Texans. My selection is the Texans in both contests. I love the fact that Chicago won week 1 because it's such a fake box score, such a fake win. Tennessee should have won that game. Chicago should not have won that game. So I already like the line. I already like betting on the Texans, but they're 6.5 point favorite. So if I lean towards their side, then I gotta love them just to win the game straight up. Caleb Williams was absolutely dreadful in week 1. Now he gets to face a D'Amico Ryans defense, which should be really hard. You want to get after rookie quarterbacks early on, which is why I would not take the Commanders, because I don't want to take I don't want my Survivor pool life in Jaden Daniels' hands. I like Jaden Daniels, but he's a rookie. It's too much to put on him early on. And in your situation, the Giants are absolutely desperate. Absolutely desperate. The Commanders' defense might be the worst defense in the NFL. So you're asking the worst defense in the NFL to carry you through Survivor in a divisional game? Way too risky. Way too risky. I wouldn't blame anyone for taking the Chargers, but I'm not. I wouldn't blame anyone for taking the Ravens. I am taking the Texans. Let me think some other ones that are interesting. The Colts are an interesting thing depending on Malik Willis. Like if Malik Willis is playing, Got to imagine the Colts probably win that game. Another reason I went with Houston is that there's better spots, I think, to use Baltimore. Baltimore has some easier games down the line, so having them available is huge. This is probably the best spot for Houston, I would think. Houston, because again, you don't want to play divisional games. So Houston plays the Titans, but I try and stay away from the divisional games. And I know the Panthers and Saints were a divisional game, but I explained that last week where it really wasn't a divisional game because no one has ever seen the Saints offense. So there's no familiarity there with the team. And especially with Canales being the first-year coach, there's absolutely no familiarity with Canales. There's absolutely no familiarity with Bryce Young. I mean, it's his second season. There's no familiarity with the Saints defense or offense. So really, it's a division game on paper, but it's not really a divisional game, right? It's not really, whereas Washington and the Giants, Dan Quinn's been around forever. So Dan Quinn is not this unknown entity. Daboll's been there. Obviously, Daniel Jones has been there. Daniel Jones has played against the actual roster of Washington, So the only person that doesn't have any familiarity in that is your quarterback in this situation of Jaden Daniels if you take the Commanders. But yeah, Survivor's awesome, man. I love Survivor. I love it, love it, love it. So I'm going with Houston. If I was advising you, it would be I would tell you pick between the Chargers, the Texans, and the Ravens is what I would tell you. Whichever one of those three you're more comfortable with, whichever one of those three. But generally, you want to play home teams. You want to stay away from divisional games. So you want to stay away from weather games. Oh, you mentioned the Eagles. I don't hate the Eagles. I think you're buying. The only question I would have is how do you factor in Philadelphia coming off of the Brazil travel? It's not much travel, but still, you got to factor in it is Cousins in prime time. Cousins is awful in prime time. Philadelphia is really good at home in prime time, specifically with Jalen Hurts. But you are buying Atlanta at an all-time low. Another thing with Houston is as of right now, Keenan Allen is doubtful and Rome Odunze hurt his knee. So that wide receiver group is looking like DJ Moore and who the hell else. But yeah, I love Survivor. Keep coming with the questions. But I'm going with Houston. Good luck, man. Good luck to everybody in Survivor. Apollo.
Yo, James. Man. I'm recording this about the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I don't have a question, but I love everything I'm seeing, man.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty much the best way you would want to start a season. I like what I'm seeing from Derek Carr. Besides that one play where he tried to fucking run over a safety, I don't know what.
Yeah, that was wild.
I love what I'm seeing from Kubiak. That one play, I don't know who was the back on the field, but that one play where it was a play action and then to a design screen for Rashid, that was beautiful. And yeah.
Yeah, so this is obviously during / at the end or in the fourth quarter of the Panthers game. And yeah, we've covered it this whole week, but it was crazy because for months and months and months, we were sitting here and we were saying okay, I have a good idea of how this will look, and whenever you do that, you always kind of look at the top end and the bottom end. You look at what's the ceiling, what's the floor, where are you? And usually sometimes you land in the middle. And, the closer the game got, every single conversation I had about the game, I was like, the more I look at it, the more it just seems like a slam dunk, seems like a home run. It just seems like it's perfectly set up for the Saints. Every single thing I read and every single thing I saw. And then, we just kind of we drew the line in the sand. It said, look, if we're wrong, we're wrong. And it was crazy to watch being validated for 4 quarters straight. It was everything we hoped for. The pre-snap motion, the creativity, the different personnel packages, utilizing Alvin Kamara as a receiver, utilizing Taysom Hill all over the field, utilizing different people on the field at the same time. And it was just it was such a far cry from the previous season. And it was one game, but man, what Clint Kubiak did, unbelievable that he could. He really changed the entire narrative of the Saints in 4 quarters. Because even if the Saints don't beat the Cowboys, even if they don't beat the Eagles, even if they don't beat the Chiefs, even if they do end up 9 wins, 10 wins, whatever, at least we know now, we're in good hands. At least we know now, okay, the thought process that's going into these plays, is going into these packages, is going into the games, okay, we're playing 2024 football. Like, we're playing the same football that the rest of the league is playing. We're not, behind the 8 ball the second the kickoff happens. And I mean, it's a fantastic feeling. It really is. It's unbelievable. I mean, and that's why I think, whenever we were saying, like, it's nothing to do with the Panthers. Like, people were like, oh, well, you beat the Panthers. Like, who cares? Like, it's nothing to do with the win. It's not. I mean, it's good to win 47-10 or whatever, but it's nothing to do with that. It's just seeing people in Saints jerseys operating and looking like the 2024 NFL. Before, like last year, I'd watch a team. I'd watch the Chiefs, the Rams, the Dolphins, whoever, and I came on here and I said, watch this team, watch the Chiefs, watch the Dolphins, watch the Rams, and go watch the Saints game. You're telling me they're in the same league? And now you watch it and just say, okay, we're right there. Good question, though, or good statement. 100% agree with you there. Divine Eternity is up next.
What's up, James? I want to give a shout out to the whole Who That Nation, and I want to give a shout out to you, the fastest growing channel in Saints media.
100%. I mean, I appreciate that, and I know Divine Eternity has been in the comment section and watching and engaging with the channel for a long time now. Yeah, I mean, no questions asked about it. I mean, this week I'm filming this on a Saturday, but we covered the game on Sunday. Monday we had 3 videos. Tuesday we had 2. Wednesday we had 2. Thursday we had 2. Friday we had 2. Saturday we had 2. Sunday, who knows how many we're going to have today. So yeah, we're pumping out. We're doing the work, and we are the fastest rising channel. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, we're closing in on 10,000 subscribers, and we're just going to keep on going up. So I have to give a shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for watching, engaging. I mean, it's crazy when I go to other videos and I see 5, 10, 15 comments, and then I go to my videos and I see 250 comments per video. The community that we have built here is absolutely insane, and it's an honor to entertain every single day for all of you.
All right, so about this game, I believe Dennis Allen, Derek Carr, and the Saints, they embody the emotions and spirit of all the Saints fans, and they went out there and they showed everybody that the chip that we have on our shoulder, they have that same chip on their shoulder. They were very hyped up. The offense looked fantastic. Defense was on fire too, but I want to give praise to this offense. They definitely got that run game going. Alvin Kamara, everybody played their roles, and I think if you're a Saints fan, you should be hyped up, even though people are going to have criticisms. People are going to say, oh, well, it was just the Panthers, but get back with me when everybody is beating the Panthers 47-10. But I believe that this team...
That's a great point right there. That's very well said.
Team was super hyped up. They heard all the noise, and they want to let everybody know, hey, going into this Cowboys game, we're not going to have you questioning us. We're going to make you guys see that we're dangerous, and you're about to see a Saints team that you haven't seen in a long time. So I believe we should be hyped up, but what do you think?
That was a great call.
What's up,
James? That was a fantastic call. That was... Yeah, I mean, 100%. I agree. I think you're right about the chip on the shoulder too. Where last year it was very confrontational between the fans and the players and the team. Dennis Allen in his post game speeches and all that stuff was always talking about the outside noise and everyone against the team and the player. And you could tell like he was kind of using the fans and the media and all that against the players, and it created this really weird, toxic kind of dynamic. The more they lost. And then, of course, it culminated in the Lions game where Derek Carr was booed off the field. Ever since that game, the team has, like you said, kind of developed this chip on their shoulder. And they could have absolutely folded up. They could have absolutely said, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. Who cares? I made $100 million. I don't care about these fans. But they took it to heart. And a lot of the players have been here for a long time. Alvin Kamara's a Saints lifer, Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, like all these guys. Tyrann Mathieu has ties to the region. They take this seriously, and it created this culture that right now I think you're right, where the team is playing with a chip on their shoulder, and the team is embodying the fan base, because the fan base kind of, the New Orleans fan base kind of always operates with that chip on their shoulder, and they are a very unique fan base. So it's kind of a perfect storm situation for a positive environment. The more this team wins, I can't even imagine if we beat Dallas. If we beat Dallas, they might throw a parade. It might be Mardi Gras come early. Because the fans have wanted for 3 years or whatever. They want something to cheer for with the Saints, and the Saints have been kind of just lacking. And then all of a sudden now it's like this renaissance season, this rebirth season for a team that has really only been bad for a year. And even last year they weren't that bad. They were just kind of lacking in something. But yeah, there is absolutely a connection right now between the fans and the team. And I really hope, even if we don't beat Dallas, I really hope we just play well, keep it tight, pause, and give the fans something to cheer about, just to keep this kind of positivity rolling. I'm not going into this game expecting we beat Dallas. I think my prediction was 28-24, 27-23, somewhere in there. But we can absolutely play with Dallas. We can beat Dallas. We absolutely can. We're a 6-point dog, but we can go in there and win. And if we do, man, the momentum for this team in City will be absolutely through the roof. Absolutely through the roof. I've said it before. Zion Williamson said it in one of his press conferences. But if you love New Orleans, they'll love you back. And if you win in New Orleans, they'll love you back. And right now, the Saints are doing both. Fantastic call. Fantastic call right there. Crayo the Warrior. That's a cool ass name right there, boy.
Hey, James. Earlier this week, I had asked you a question of including the further implications of these outcomes. Would you rather this season for the New Orleans Saints to end up like the 2007 Patriots season where they lost the Super Bowl?
I remember this call. Or I remember this question.
Like the 2011 Giants season where they won the Super Bowl. Thinking back on it now, I think the answer is pretty clear that you would rather win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so that question was in the comment section. It was, would you rather be the undefeated Patriots who then lose in the Super Bowl, or would you rather be the Giants who I think go 9-7 that year and win the Super Bowl? The reason I said the Giants, one, because you win the Super Bowl, but two, because they also won their division that year. That was one of those years where the NFC East was kind of down. So you get a division championship and you win the Super Bowl, like you're not trumping that, at all, unless you go undefeated or something. But that's the goal. And even beyond the Super Bowl, like just winning the division, like the Saints. I was in the comment section. I'm in the comment section all week, but someone was asking. They were saying like, we got to win one out of the next three against KC, Dallas, and Philly. And I said I will gladly trade winning at Atlanta over any of those teams. And yeah, winning at Kansas City on Monday Night Football, whatever, would be cool. But I would much rather win on Fox at noon at Atlanta, because it goes further to the goal. The end goal, the first goal is winning the division. The second goal is, okay, you host a playoff game, try and get into the playoffs and make some noise. But I don't care about beating the Chiefs. I don't care about beating the Eagles. I don't care about beating the Cowboys. I want to beat those teams, but I'm focused on winning the division. And yeah, obviously, if you win those games, it goes towards helping you win the division. But and that's kind of where I know it's like a weird thing, especially for me to say, because I'm covering the team. But I'm rooting. I obviously want the Saints to win, but expecting the Saints to win every game is, not realistic, obviously. So if you're picking and choosing like which games to win, how this should operate, I'm always going to prioritize winning the division, getting to the playoffs, and trying to do what the Bucs did last year and win a playoff game. And then once you're in there, who knows? Like once you're in there, you can go Nick Foles, you can go Joe Flacco, you can go and get hot in the playoffs, and then who the hell knows? But I would much rather in that option, I would much rather win the division, win the Super Bowl, versus be one of the greatest teams of all time that didn't win the Super Bowl.
As most fans would want their team to. So I wanted to beef up the question a little bit.
Okay.
So now I want to ask you, would you rather, just like the Patriots, lose the Super Bowl this year, but make it to the playoffs 11 times within the next 12 years? Or would you like to be like the Giants this season, in that 2011 season, where they won that Super Bowl, but they've only made it to the playoffs twice
since then.
Yeah.
This may sound a little convoluted, but I do hope that you got my.
I get it. I got you.
Just on what I was asking you. Thank you.
I got you. And this is a good question. This is a question I ask, or we talk about all the time, kind of indirectly. So, a lot of the times, what I always say is 10 years is a long time. The way I always look at like mortgaging the future, I always talk about trading draft picks for better players, and this goes for the NFL and the NBA. I think if you win the Super Bowl or an NBA Finals or whatever, I think it is worth somewhere around 5 or 6 years of pretty bad. Like I would mortgage 5 years. So I would win the Super Bowl this year and then not make the playoffs for another 5 years immediately after. I would do that every day of the week, 100%. Now, when you start talking about like 10 years, is a Super Bowl worth 10 years of not making the playoffs? I don't know. Because each time you make the playoffs, you have a chance to win the Super Bowl. So that is where it's like, maybe not. Maybe you don't make that deal. Maybe you just try and do it the old-fashioned way versus this kind of deal with the devil or whatever. But I think 5 years is fine. Like I would take if we won the Super Bowl this year, I would take 5 straight years of 8 and 9. I would take that. I would take 5 straight years of just middle of the road, average, whatever. Yeah. But if you told me win the Super Bowl this year, go 10 years without making the playoffs, I probably wouldn't do that. Yeah. I mean, that's tough though. But and that's where I kind of and the Rams did that. Like when the Rams made the trade for Stafford, that was the conversation of like, and the Cavaliers did it when they traded for Kevin Love. When the second time LeBron was there, they traded whatever it was, Wiggins and whatever the package was, and ended up getting Kevin Love. And my thought then was like, who cares about developing Andrew Wiggins? Like, who cares about all that? You have LeBron James, you have a window now, win now, and then whatever. And I'm sure people in Cleveland probably agree. Like, yeah, that was well worth it. Like winning that series against the Warriors was absolutely well worth not doing anything past that, right? So it's definitely a lot of variables go into that, obviously. Like I'm sure a 65-year-old Lions fan would say, win the Super Bowl this year, and I don't care if we never have another winning season again, because they're so far into their fanhood that they just do it once. So I would say 5 years for sure. 10 years is a bit much. That's a great question. That's a really fun question. So answer that in the comments below. We'll pose it like this. You can either choose A, win the Super Bowl this year, but then you go 10 years without making the playoffs, or B, lose the Super Bowl this year, but you make the playoffs 10 out of the next 11 years. Answer down below. Corey, up next.
James, is it me or is Derek Carr throwing like Patrick Mahomes this year? What kind of magic voodoo did the Saints pull to make this happen? Should we expect Carr to start throwing no-look passes on Sunday? This is like his 11th year, and he looks like this may be his best season ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what a system can do. It's amazing what play calling and a scheme can do. Like, at a certain level, like, yeah, there is the player. Like, the player is involved, right? But, like, Brock Purdy does what Brock Purdy does because of Kyle Shanahan. Not 100%, but pretty damn close. So this is just and that's why I thought Derek Carr was perfect in this system, is that this system wants an efficient, veteran kind of guy to read the defenses and make the right decision to throw the football. It's the NFL. Every single one of these quarterbacks at a certain level can make the throw. Like, unless you're Bryce Young, you can make the throw. Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, you take all those guys and you put them in that situation, they're all making the throws that Carr was asked to make. Now, Carr was absolutely on the money. I mean, no doubt about that. But, these are NFL quarterbacks. Like, they have the skill set. But in today's NFL, it's all about can you get the most out of the guys? Like Miami, like Tua just got hurt, obviously. There's rumors of Miami trading for Mac Jones. I guarantee you, if Miami traded for Mac Jones would look good this year. I guarantee it. Sam Darnold was the best quarterback on earth in week 1. Do you think that has something to do with Kevin O'Connell being one hell of a coach? Absolutely. Kevin O'Connell was going to war last year with Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall. All right. He made Joshua Dobbs look like peak Cam Newton. What happened to Josh Dobbs after that? Exactly. So it's just a different NFL. It really is. It's a very different NFL. Just like Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning had the best PFF grade of his entire career in week 1. Do you think that was by accident? Do you think Trevor Penning just woke up and had an extra bowl of Wheaties? No, right? Like Raheem Mostert had the best year of his career last year. Do you think that was by accident, or do you think that's something to do with Miami's offense? Jordan Mason, I believe that's his name, for the Niners, backs up Christian McCaffrey, runs for 180 yards against the Jets defense. You think he's doing that if he plays for the Patriots? No. Okay. So, and it's just like it really is. They're just running these, like, it's not an algorithm. That's the wrong way to put it. But these systems are just, they're min-maxing the hell out of these players, and it's just next man up kind of thing, which is another reason why if you're in the front office and you got a running back and you got a certain player trying to hold you up for $70-80 million, and you're thinking, brother, we can pretty much get the production out of whoever. Like, we're not really concerned about, it's not how it was back in the day. I always say that, but it's so true. We are in such a evolutionary period of football. We are in such a different space with the NFL than we were a few years ago. I mean, a decade ago, you got really good players are dragging really bad coaches and really bad teams to really good results. That just doesn't happen anymore. It does not happen anymore. Now you got to have the combination of the game plan, the scheme, the system, the situational awareness mixed with the correct personnel. I mean, again, like the Saints and Clint Kubiak are a match made in heaven because we have the personnel that fits what Kubiak wants to do. If Alvin Kamara was Jerome Bettis, Clint Kubiak's not putting Jerome Bettis out wide, and running routes. So it's all these combinations, but I think that's why Derek Carr looked fantastic. Again, it's not a surprise that Andy Reid is the one orchestrating the Chiefs' offense. I mean, Andy Reid might be the greatest coach to ever live. So if Big Mike McCarthy was coaching the Chiefs, I have a sneaky feeling they wouldn't be going for their third Super Bowl. All right, Cole, wrap us up here, my man.
Yo, what's up, James? So I was just wondering, after week 1, after Clint Kubiak's performance in week 1, if he continues to build off of that and just all season he runs this amazing, dominating offense, what are the chances that he gets a head coaching job next season? And if he does, like, how do we move forward from that? What do we do after that? And also, side question of the day, why did she leave me?
Sounds like a you problem, brother. A side question of the day. Sounds like a you problem. What I would say, forget about it. Get on down to GNC. You need NO Explode. You need cell mass. You need to up your protein intake by about 250 grams a day. And just go absolutely nuts. I mean, just go really get the deadlift up, really get the squat up, start doing Zerchers, get the bench press up simultaneously. Just absolutely pour yourself into either College Football 25, Madden, World of Warcraft, FIFA, the new FIFA's coming out, just whatever. And forget about it. And just be a jacked maniac enjoying your life. And then tartar loss, right? Your first question, so this gets asked a lot about Clint Kubiak. Yeah, it's absolutely a possibility. If Clint Kubiak and if the Saints go nuts this year and Clint Kubiak's orchestrating the best offense in the NFL, and we see a turnaround from one of the worst play callers to one of the best play callers, and yada, 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 yeah, he will absolutely be in the conversations for a head coaching job. And just like Ben Johnson is, just like Bobby Slowick is, and it'll be up to him if he wants to stay. Just like Bobby Slowick, just like Ben Johnson. Like those guys Ben Johnson was reportedly going to get $15 million a year as a head coach. He turned it down to come back and be the OC with the Lions. And he'll probably, I would assume, after this year, like Joe Brady, Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, those are the next crop of guys. And Clint Kubiak, if he is super successful this year, he'll be in that conversation as well. The good thing about our staff is that it's all the same voice. So it's all guys who believe the same thing, are from the same tree, who understand the same system. It's not this like disjointed thing that the Saints had before. So if Clint Kubiak was poached, I have full faith Andrew Janocko would step in as the offensive coordinator. Andrew Janocko already, when Kubiak was in the booth during the preseason, Andrew Janocko was already the guy on the sidelines who was communicating as the liaison between Kubiak and Derek Carr. Fun fact, at one point, I was the United States liaison for Interpol during the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So, crazy time in your boy's life. But maybe we'll talk about that in a different video for a different day. But yeah, I was working with 3 different liaisons through Interpol to work on the nuts stuff. Like I said, different conversations for a different day. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely real. But that's the whole point of why we have the staff we have. You know, Derek Carr's mentioned it. A lot of people have mentioned it in their interviews that, it's one voice, and luckily, I'm assuming it'd be Janocko. We're lucky he's there. I would think it's Janocko would be the next man up. He is the quarterback's coach, but I mean, it's definitely realistic. But it'd be a good problem to have for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Thank you for all the questions. Fantastic stuff. Really good batch of questions. Really, really, really good batch of questions for sure today. Thank you very much. Send them in. And we'll see what happens with this Cowboys game. And I'll be pumping out content left and right. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.